you for it. So tonight I pray for wisdom of God for each of these council members, each of the people that present tonight, and the community members as we participate. Lord, you have blessed us with a great community, and Lord, we need your wisdom and discernment to steward it. We are convinced tonight as we look to you for your wisdom, you will bless us even more. We thank you and pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is 3 minutes. There are blue speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers. In addition, written public comment was received and forwarded to the council.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? Seeing none, thank you. Will the city attorney report out on closed session?
Yes, Mayor. The council discussed an existing litigation matter today in closed session. No reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation declaring August 26, 2023 as National Women's Equality Day. I will read the proclamation. Women's Equality Day, celebrated every August 26, commemorates the passage of women's suffrage in the United States and reminds us of the hurdles overcome by the heroic women who faced violence and discrimination to propel the women's movement forward. Women in the United States have continuously worked to gain full rights and privileges, public or private, legal or institutional, and women in every state and every cultural and religious group work to secure women's rights to vote. And Congress has designated August 26th, the date the 19th Amendment was certified in 1920, as Women's Equality Day, and recognizing Women's Equality Day as a day of celebration throughout the country emphasizes the importance of women's work for democracy. And now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim August 26, 2023 as Women's Equality Day and encourage our residents to participate in programs and activities that promote an understanding the need to create a healthier, safer, and more equitable future for all people, and that is dated today. We have accepting the proclamation, Jillian Wagner, board member of the Stanislaus County Commission of Women. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you're honoring Women's Equality Day in this way, and I'm happy to accept on behalf of the Stanislaus County Commission for Women. And I urge all my fellow citizens, women and everyone else, to vote to take that right and that privilege seriously. It's one of the great joys and the great duties of being a citizen of our country. Thank you.
Thank you for being here this evening, and I will now bring the proclamation down and present it. All right, next is a proclamation declaring September 2023 as National Seniors Center Month. I will read the proclamation. The senior citizens of our community are valued members who have contributed greatly to the richness of our city's history. And senior centers provide essential services, support, and a sense of belonging to our elderly population, enhancing their quality of life. And the month of September is recognized nationwide as National Senior Center Month, a time to celebrate the important role senior centers play in the lives of our seniors. And senior centers offer a wide range of programs and activities that promote social interaction, physical fitness, mental well-being, and lifelong learning for our seniors. And the dedicated staff and volunteers at our senior centers work tirelessly to create a welcoming and inclusive environment that honors the dignity and wisdom of our senior citizens. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as National Senior Center Month and call upon all residents to recognize the special contributions of the Senior Center participants and the efforts of the Senior Center staff and volunteers who work every day to enhance the well-being of the older residents of our community. And that will be dated today. We have Shannon Parker, our Recreation Coordinator, to be here this evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for proclaiming September as National Senior Center Month. You should see in front of you a calendar, and inside is a flyer inviting you to our open house on September 12th in recognition of Senior Center Month. The Senior Citizen Center is a center for those individuals 60 years and over. We are located at 211 Bodum Street on the corner of Scenic and Bodum. We hope that you will join us. We'll be there from 9 to noon. At this time, I would like to introduce Carl Whitney. He is a participant at our senior center.
All right, welcome.
Hello. I'd like to thank the council here and the whole city of Modesto for welcoming me. About 15 months ago, I lost my wife, and all of my relatives had passed away, and my close friends had passed away. And my daughter had been living here for 11 years, and she suggested I come down here. So I started going to the senior center, and it's been a world of difference in my existence, you know. Having a place to go between there, and I go there 3 days a week, and I go to the vets 1 day a week. And it's just a great place to go. You can do as little as you want or as much as you want. I take part in the exercise, the strength training, 2 days a week, and I go to bingo 1 day a week. And, you know, I'm 86 years old, and, you know, I'm really grateful.
Don't forget, you're trying yoga.
Yeah, I tried yoga, but it was a little bit too much, but if I get in better shape, I'll stay with it, you know. But anyway, and the staff at the senior center are really wonderful people. I mean, they sincerely care about the senior citizens that go there. And it's, you know, a newspaper to read every day, and there's coffee and water all day, you know. And I eat a meal there on Monday and Wednesday, and I eat a meal at the Veterans on Tuesday. And so it's just a wonderful place to go, and if it wasn't there, I would have no place to go. You know, so thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being here this evening and for sharing your experience. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I'll bring the proclamation down for you.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, so.
All right, next on the agenda is item 3, consider the appointment of Ivan Valencia to the Modesto City County Airport Advisory Committee for a 4-year term with an expiration date of June 30th, 2027. Does council have any questions regarding this item, item 3?
Yeah, Mayor, or request to speak.
All right,
Mayor.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Can just for public awareness and clarity, why this appointment is being made can we get some clarification on that? I know, but for public's information.
Good evening, Council. Gabe DeSilva, the airport manager. The reason for the appointment is we had a vacant position for a service provider on the Airport Advisory Committee, and Chief Valencia has applied for the position, and he's heading up the new MPD squadron at the Modesto Airport, located at Modesto Jet Center.
And we have the new aircraft, which is, there's a requirement to sit on that commission or committee? Or?
It is not a requirement, but that position is somebody that is a service provider at the airport, and it was formerly held by the sheriff that is also located at the airport on the Sheriff's Aero Squadron. So we felt that it was a wonderful connection since we lost the sheriff, and now we can add the MPD since they're new on the airfield.
Understood. Myself and Councilmember Williams also sit on that advisory committee, so I think this is a great appointment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council members? Seeing none, I'll open this up to the public. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 3? Seeing none, I will close the public comments. Any comments from council members? All right. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's an outstanding choice, and I commend Ivan, our Assistant Chief, for taking on this role. He's already busy, so for you to do that as well, thank you for doing that.
All right, I have a resolution approving the appointment of Ivan Valencia to the Modesto City County Airport Advisory Committee for the position of commercial carrier / service provider for a 4-year term with an expiration date of June 30th, 2027. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by
Second.
Councilmember Wright, second by Councilmember Alvarez. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Next is public comment. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda. You have 3 minutes to speak. First card I have is Jerry Thompson.
Mayor, council, other members.
I just want to thank you all for the second and final vote to make cruising official back in Modesto again. The car community is very grateful and thankful for your all participating and advising and having your input on bringing things to the table so we can negotiate all this. Also, on the lighter side, we have been invited to represent Modesto to the California History Museum up in Sacramento. So what we're going to do is provide items within the car community to be on display in Sacramento from the month of October of this year through April of next year. And we're one of 8 cities that's going to have this privilege to do this. So hopefully we'll be able to shine good for Modesto and give a little background history of what we're about. Also, we've just been informed this week that AB 436 will be going to the Senate floor for a full vote. It has also been waived to go through the Senate committee, so now it's going to go to a full vote. Then also last week, I was informed from Jacob Fowler, the aide to Senator Marie Alvarado Gill. She will vote in support of AB 436, also sign on as a co-sponsor for AB 436 to represent Modesto. So I just want to bring you all up to date what's going on, and then hopefully once it passes next week, we're hoping, then it goes to the governor's desk, and you'll probably see me again to let you know the end results for that. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Next online is Jenny.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to ask about the comprehensive general plan. I haven't heard any movement on it. I would appreciate it if at some time at a council meeting as a discussion item we were given some kind of a update on the comprehensive general plan, which is way overdue, but I haven't heard any more of if anything's being done with it. So I really appreciate if sometime we could get an update on the comprehensive general plan. Thank you.
You're welcome. And next in person, Diane Cruzy.
The last mile. Thank you for listening to me, I hope. I'm here for the homeless people. And unfortunately, I don't see a whole lot of progress toward, I would call safe sleeping. I think the safe parking has gone into effect now. We kind of disagree with a few of the rules like registration and timing, but this, I don't understand why it's being held up, because we're talking about people here. We're talking about people that don't have any power, and that's one problem. And they deserve everything we can help them with, because they only become an impediment to a city, any city here in the county, because they don't have any way to find a good safe sleeping place. They're not safe, period. They don't have enough to eat. Their health is going to be very bad because of that. And generally, they make a drag on the community. And that's why I don't understand why we're not getting more cooperation with you folks to put all these things through. And I'm hoping that will change. And I also want to tell you that I'm a member of the Central Valley Democratic Club, and we have now endorsed MOCAG. So you will be getting a letter or something on that effect, because we're all for it, and we're all behind it, and that's the reason I'm here. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next online, Steve.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. When I began advocating on behalf of Trevor Seaver and his family a couple years ago, I'll be honest, Ms. Wallen, you seemed like you cared. You spoke in a conciliatory tone. You seemed to be paying attention. You even said things to console Trevor's family. That changed greatly. Since I have been coming before you to beg of you to advocate not only on behalf of Trevor, but also a second family who has been devastated by police violence in this town, things changed. You've been called out for lying. We've had council members make comments blaming Trevor. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've also seen a lot of people go over time. And I have not seen you yet, except for the last time I was in the meeting. That was the first time I've seen you weaponize the police. And you know what? To be honest, it was confusing, Sue, because you were still sort of engaging with me. And I don't know why the city manager felt like he had to sick the cops on me, but I want to know why you're targeting me. Because it seems like it's because I'm expressing dissent. And I want to know why you can't just enforce the rules evenly and fairly. You've singled me out, you've traumatized me, and I'd like to give you this opportunity, Mayor Zwala, to apologize to me.
This is your time to speak.
Yeah, that's another thing. You tell me that, and that is related to the lie that you obviously told the whole community. And then I see you, like, oftentimes the very next speaker turn around and do the opposite. So you are, according to the Brown Act, allowed to comment briefly. I'm giving you a chance to apologize for singling me out last council meeting and sicking the cops on me and traumatizing me because I was angry that you were enforcing the time limit unfairly.
I don't have a comment at this time.
Why don't you just go ahead and apologize and make history? Because you obviously have wronged me, because no one else has been treated the way I've been treated. And I've watched you allow Proud Boys to hijack the city council meeting. You've treated Proud Boys better than you've treated a member of your own community that simply has come to stand before you and beg you to stand up on behalf of the lives in your community and do something. You owe me an apology, and I'd like to give you an opportunity now.
I think I've stated what I'm going to say.
So you obviously
Thank you.
don't care about right or wrong, but have a good evening, because it's past 3 minutes, and I don't want you to send the cops after me.
All right, thank you. Next in person is Linnell Solomon.
Good evening, council members. My name's Linnell Solomon, and I'm an advocate for the homeless, as you know. I'm not here to make enemies, and I'm not here to make friends. I'm here on a humanitarian purpose. Let me tell you about a few days of my past week. Last Thursday, Steve Finch and I hit the streets with a car full of homemade food made with love, drinks, clothing, shoes, and toiletries. We fed over 100 people. At one of our stops, we came across a group that had been attacked while sleeping. My girl Jenny's face, whole left side, was swollen, bloody. Her lip was as fat as a catcher's mitt. Johnny had his hand in a hand brace because he had been attacked by a 2x4. He had wounds and bruises all over his body. Then, as we were feeding, Michael showed up. He had just been attacked with a knife. He had scratches all over his back. I begged them to allow me to call 911. They wouldn't allow us to because they don't trust the cops or the EMTs. So I got out my emergency first aid kit and I did what I could do for Michael. By the way, I had a gal 2 weeks ago also tell me she was attacked while she was sleeping. Today I stopped by to check on everyone. They are healing, but scared and mentally scarred. Then they told me 2 days ago at the ARCO station, there was another attack. And also, I came across another girl today that had a black eye that was attacked while she was sleeping. Our streets are literally bleeding out. How are you okay with this? Our community learns from our leaders how to treat others. Just like in school, if a kid is being bullied and is not condemned, then everybody starts bullying the same kid. I believe the same goes for our streets. If you, our leaders, showed some kindness and compassion to our streets, maybe more would be doing so as well. What a difference it would make, and all that it would take is a safe place for our homeless to lay their heads. It would not take much to start the healing of our streets, the healing of our community, but with a safe camping and parking area, it's a start. Philosopher John Paul Sartre once said, "Existence precedes essence." In other words, to be is to act. What you do is what you believe, not what you say. What you do is what you believe, and everything else is sour cream. Our homeless should and need to be a priority of yours, at the top of your list. And for the life of me, I can't wrap my head around why they are not, why they still have to suffer and the streets are bleeding. Please put a stop to this. Please create a safe place for my people to lay their heads. And once again, I invite every single one of you to join me on the streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Next online, we have Brittany Chavez. Brittany, are you there? We cannot hear you. Are you able to unmute? Pardon me? I've asked her. Okay, that's, yeah. We're not able to hear you, Brittany. All right. I don't know in this case.
Anybody else in
Yeah,
person?
I don't see anybody else in person. I don't have any other blue cards. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment? All right. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Zav Solomon. Linel, she's my wife. And, 2 weeks ago, she criticized you people here in the council. And since then, she became pretty much the enemy of the state. And I want to tell you, she is my hero, not the enemy of the state. What she's doing for the people on the street in this town, you can't even dream about. Day and night, 7 days a week. Rain or shine, doesn't matter. And I want to tell you, as a person who served in the military and was in combat and under fire many, many times, let me tell you, when you have a wounded soldier, first thing you do, you stop the bleeding. Because it doesn't matter if you see the best doctor an hour later or have the best hospital an hour later. If you won't stop the bleeding immediately, nothing will help him an hour later. And to handle the homeless situation in this town, you need to start by stopping the bleeding. And stopping the bleeding, it's give those people safe space to park, to sleep, and from there, then you go and build them, places, cheap places to live, whatever. They can't even afford to run a house right now. What's the point to build them this, to build them that? It's almost ridiculous. You're wasting your time on something that, to me, it's a joke. You start from here. You need to start from the bottom. You have people, I walk with my wife around once in a while. I know those people. Those people don't have nobody to talk for them. 30 years ago, this town stopped cruising. I thought that was the dumbest idea, to stop cruising, because it brought gangs from the Bay Area, crime. We have police. It's their job to deal with it. So now you tell us, now you start cruising again. Now there are more crime. And by the way, I'm for the cruising. But now there are more crimes than ever. So now the police can handle it, suddenly. And I tell you another thing. The police chief told you guys that safe place for the homeless, it's going to bring more crimes. Let me tell you something. The chief of police works for you people. If he can handle the problem, bring somebody else. This is how you work the situation. And it's embarrassing that we can't find 4 people here to vote for safe space for the homeless people. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, online, we'll go back to try Brittany Chavez. All right, we'll go on to Ramon Rodriguez.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with Mrs. Solomon, because this is what we were talking about since in the wake of Christine Chavez' death. We haven't seen any action providing a safe space for the homeless. And what Mrs. Solomon said is what the homeless people are suffering. They're becoming victims of crime, violent crimes in particular. And because nowadays there's a growing anti-homeless narrative going around, giving people a purge-like sense of violence to attack the homeless. And this is why we need a safe space for the homeless, because they need a safe space to sleep and to prevent incidents like what happened to Christine Chavez. And another thing, 2 years ago, I was walking downtown and I saw a couple Modesto police officers dragging a homeless woman suffering a mental crisis into a patrol car. There were so many of them. They were just manhandling and roughing her that she was screaming. There was no way that she haven't got any help. She was just being dragged like she was a doll and thrown in a police car. And that's kind of saying, why isn't there any help for the homeless? And I've been talking that we need to put back a safe space where the homeless can enjoy a respite, and they can't be sleeping and being victims of violence. And when you have the homeless being attacked, what does it give the image to your town? It's bad. And we need to do something to help the homeless so they don't have to be victims of crime and violence. And it's so sad that we live in the richest country in the world, we cannot even take care of the homeless. They're mainly veterans, senior citizens who only rely on Social Security, and disabled, and people who are living paycheck to paycheck away from being in the streets because the rents are too expensive. This is why we need programs. This is why we need housing, so they can get back on their feet and to contribute. And this is why we need more than just shelters and safe space. We need action from all governments, and to help those who are suffering mental and substance abuse issues, and not just leave them on the streets like they're nothing. We need to treat them as human beings, not just nothing, because it's going to get worse if there's no action. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Brittany Chavez.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I had a lot of people tell me that what I wrote on Facebook, that I needed to speak this out loud. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I used to be sweet. I used to understand. I used to care. I used to put other people's shoes on, wear them to understand. I used to humble myself. I used to have a carefree mind. I used to be loved in a way women dreamt of. I used to be wanted in a way women longed for. I used to be number one. I used to be the one and only. I used to have family without loss. I used to have the head of household. I used to have the life most people wanted. I used to, and do a lot of things. I do not anymore. I used to be. So let me reintroduce myself. I am in grief. I am in heartache. I am in loss. I am angry. I am hurt. I am a widow. I am overthinking. I am still compassionate. I'm still humble. I'm still at war. I'm still fighting. I'm still at question. I'm still a believer. So when y'all think I'm cold-hearted, just try for a second to understand I'm still at a standstill. I'm still trying. I'm still getting up. I'm still waking up for a fight. I'm still here because God's plan is to have me here. And that's his choice. And I stand by him first and always. I ask why. The truth is, it's not an answer we deserve or must know. I understand it's a fight. Blood cannot fight. It's a spiritual warfare. So as I do all the humanly things I feel is necessary, I know God will do everything else. I accept what I get, what is owed. I accept what I accept. I won't have the justice he, Paul Chavez, CJ, deserves. Because we all know he won't serve, what, 2 or 3 years? I accept that it's just my fight. I accept it's not my battle. But I do accept that my God will prevail. Justice will be served to all those who were involved and those who did not hold. I can't even. Y'all are terrible people. You're terrible. You remember that. I can't even finish this because that's how terrible y'all are. You're supposed to be people. Human beings. Y'all ain't compassionate. You don't love each other. Yourselves. You don't. Because if you did, none of this crap would be happening right now. It's not even about my own husband. But everything else that I keep hearing.
All right,
it's
Brittany.
horrible.
Brittany,
I understand that, okay. Mayor.
Okay.
I understand that, Sue. Okay? But you need to understand that people are grieving here. Do you pray? Do you love yourself? Do you go and you actually like talk to yourself?
All right,
to
Brittany.
God?
Brittany.
It's horrible. It's horrible what you guys do and don't do.
All right. You're going to have to, okay, thank you. Right. All right, is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment? Yes, please step forward. Right. And typically we don't allow people to speak once they've spoken the first time. I hate to be accused of...
This is not the same subject. It has to do with the police.
Okay, apparently it doesn't matter, so everyone's only allowed to speak once in public comment. Thank you. All right, any other members of the public that would like to speak under public comment, either in person? I do not see anyone else in person, and confirming that there's no one else online with hands raised. That's no one online. Next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? I do not see anyone asking for that. Is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? Confirming online if there's any hands raised in online. No hands raised. All right, will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item 4, consider approving the minutes from the August 8, 2023 council meeting. Item 5, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3769 CS, amending section 12-03-09 of the zoning map of the City of Modesto to rezone properties located at 3431 and 3419 Millbrook Avenue from specific plan holding zone to specific plan zone. Item 6, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3770 CS, amending sections of Article 6, vacant and boarded buildings of Title 9, Building Regulations, Chapter 9, Property Maintenance Code of the Modesto Municipal Code to enhance maintenance and security of vacant buildings. Item 7, consider approving the First Amendment to the Stanislaus Animal Services Agency Joint Powers Agency Agreement to amend the manner of exercising its powers currently subject to the restrictions applicable to the City of Modesto and being replaced by restrictions applicable to the County of Stanislaus. Item 8, consider approving an agreement for the purchase and implementation of construction project management software with eBuilder, Inc. out of Sunrise, Florida for a total amount not to exceed $620,183 for a period of 5 years. Item 9, consider approving a pre-qualified consultant list for construction management and inspection services for various CIP program projects for a period of 5 years. Item 10, consider approving the plans and specs for the Paradise Road area pedestrian and bicycle safety improvements project, accepting the bid and awarding a contract to George Green, Inc. out of Modesto in the amount of $8,529,985, authorizing the Director of Utilities to approve change orders up to the cumulative amount of $852,998. Item 11, consider accepting an informational update on the purchase of 9 Modesto police patrol vehicles and 1 Modesto Fire Department boat with trailer replacement. Item 12, consider approving the purchase for fleet addition and replacements of 13 dump trucks, 2 forklift variable reach, and 3 packers in the amount not to exceed $4,637,991. Item 13, consider approving a side letter with Modesto Firefighters Association for 2 additional holidays and a side letter agreement for an adjustment to compensation for a special assignment. Item 14, consider authorizing the submittal of applications to the State of California Governor's Office of Planning and Research grants. Item 15, consider accepting the plans and specs for the rebid La Loma Sewer Replacement Phase 1 project and awarding a construction contract to Mozingo Construction, Inc. out of Oakdale in the amount of $5,282,147 plus $792,322 in contingency if needed for a total amount not to exceed $6,074,469.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve?
A motion by Councilmember Wright. Second by Councilmember Escutia Brayton. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Thank you. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Do any of the council members have any comments and reports? Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to share some comments that appeared in the Modesto Police Department's social media last week. August 14th, 2023 marks the 2-year anniversary since investigator Michael Rakaitis was shot while serving a search warrant with fellow officers at a resident in southeast Modesto. Chief Brandon Gillespie stated it perfectly to the Modesto Police Department family. The resilience and determination shown by Mikey since that time has been nothing short of amazing. And his positive attitude, outlook on life, his perseverance, standing as an example to all of us on how to face times and challenge. We will never forget the awful night when we almost lost you, Mickey, and I'm very thankful for you and so many others who display of bravery and heroism that night was nothing short than astonishing. Well said, Chief Gillespie. Mikey Rikitis is a hometown boy, Modesto, California. He attended Bayer High School. He attended Modesto Junior College where he played water polo. And then he went on to complete his bachelor's degree in communications from Cal State, Fresno. Mikey Rikitis is married, has one child and another child on the way. Like all law enforcement officers every day, investigator Michael Rikitis puts his life on the line to protect and serve our community. Investigator Michael Rikitis is the real deal and a true hero. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Next is Vice Mayor Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to talk about homelessness first a little bit. First of all, I think that our city needs to really look at adjusting our expectations on homelessness. Housing part of our homeless population, it just isn't enough. And I know that there's jurisdictional disagreements. The county should be doing this, the state should be doing this, the city should be doing this. But this kind of interjurisdictional drama has been going on for decades. And it's time that we step forward, because we can, so that our neighbors, our businesses, our first responders, and our hospitals don't have to deal with this crisis. Safe sleeping and safe spaces are not final solutions, but it's where we start. And so we need to start now. I also want to talk about forestry a little bit and how we can improve it for our residents. A lot of people have been waiting for years for their trees and their stumps to be removed. Others have been waiting for trees to be planted. I think that we need to make sure that forestry has due dates. We need them to operate on timelines. Residents deserve to know when their trees will be dealt with. I understand that we're in the process of rebuilding this division with the help of Measure H, and that's going to take time. But we need to improve these services as soon as possible. I just keep getting so many emails. It's time for us to do something about it. And finally, we're working right now on a downtown parking program. And I know the real goal here is to find ways to increase commerce in downtown and have better parking management. And that's a really good intent, and it's where we need to go, But I also think we need to be transparent about what the solutions are going to be, which include things like parking meters. And so anytime you say parking meters, people freak out. But it doesn't have to be that way, because there's lots of solutions out there for people that need to park downtown all day. And so what I'm hoping we can have as a community is a really honest conversation about solutions so that we can make our downtown better. And I think we can do that. Thanks, Mayor.
Are there any other council members that have any comments or reports? Councilmember Bavaro, are you, okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have another comment. All right. I just have two little reports that I'd like to make. I was honored to participate in the Stanislaus County Interfaith Council event separating the multi-faith community, and we heard from the Baha'i, Buddhist, Church of the Brethren, and Seventh-day Adventist, and it was extremely informational and a real example of how our community comes together with people with many different beliefs, and we listen and we hear and we learn and we grow together. Also, the city manager and I participated in the grand opening of Kestrel Ridge, which is a homeless solution for people that are experiencing behavioral health issues. And it was beautiful to see these, they're humble, small places for people to live, but they're safe. They are provided services on site, and it's another example of how we're making progress to care for the people that are so vulnerable in our community. Any other comments from council members at this time? All right. Does city manager have any comments and reports? All right. Next item on the agenda is hearings. Item 16, a hearing to consider proposed water rate increases for fiscal year 2023-24 through 27-28. This hearing is for the proposed water rate increases. If you wish to protest the water rate increases, you must submit a written protest. There are written protest forms available at the entrance of these chambers. Written protests must be submitted to the clerk seated next to the podium, right here, before the close of the protest hearing. Will the city clerk please repeat this statement in Spanish?
Yes, Mayor. Esta audiencia es para los aumentos propuestos de tarifas del agua. Si desea protestar los aumentos de la tarifa de agua, debe presentar una protesta por escrito. Hay formularios disponibles en la entrada. Las protestas por escrito deben presentarse a la secretaria sentada al lado del podio antes del cierre de la audiencia.
Thank you. All right. I'd like the staff report at this time. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Will Wong. I'm the Director of Utilities. And tonight, as the Mayor mentioned, we have a hearing for the Proposition 218 for the water rate increases. Oops. All right, a little bit of the background for the city's water system. The water utility is self-financing, which means we rely 100% on water rates to fund the water enterprise. We don't have any funding from the general fund or measure rate. So again, 100% from the water fund. The rates that we set need to be set at levels to fund the true cost of service for providing clean drinking water for all our customers every day, 24/7, 365. Staff strives to provide the most reasonable rates for all its customers. Since the last rate increase, the water enterprise is in better financial health, but is still facing some financial challenges that will require some moderate rate increases. So for all rates for the city of Modesto, including sewer, the goal is to try to keep rates as low as possible. These rates will continue to fund the excellent water service provided by staff for operations, maintenance, and to fund capital improvement projects. The rates that we have set forward tonight are gradual, predictable rates, and the purpose is to avoid any type of rate spikes. Another reason why we raise rates is to maintain a good credit rating with the credit rating agencies, which requires us to maintain prudent reserves and meet our debt coverage requirements. The water enterprise has a lot of successes to celebrate over the last 5 years. Annually, we provide over 45 million gallons per day for our residents. In the summertime, we actually see anywhere from 60 to 70 million gallons, but in the wintertime, we get down to about 15. But on average, about 45 million gallons per day is what we deliver to our customers. Our water division repairs almost 1,300 water leaks per year, as well as responding to over 5,100 service requests. On the capital improvement side, we have 36 projects that we completed worth $110 million, with currently 13 projects in design worth $57 million. If you recall, back on June 27th, Council did approve the city's engineers report, which is the basis document for the rate study, which Council also adopted back on June 27th. The last item that the Council authorized back on June 27th was allowing staff to initiate the Proposition 218 process. So the proposed moderate rates that the City of Modesto is proposing is recommending about 5.5% rates every year for the next 5 years. This will allow the city to fund about $185 million in capital, 4.5 annual rate increases over the last 5 years. Next 5 years. It funds $185 million in capital projects, as well as operating and maintenance costs, as well as meeting all regulatory requirements. The rates also allow us to maintain good financial policies, good reserves, and our strong credit rating. And the proposed rates will be effective October 1st of this year through fiscal year 27-28. It is to note that in this rate model, we are predicting that we may require some debt financing in the last 2 years of the rate study. This table here shows the proposed rates. The first rate increase we'll look at as a volumetric rate, which will go from $2.02 to $2.11, and that pays for the water supply per unit. Each customer for each unit is 748 gallons, so we will increase 9 cents from $2.02 to $2.11 for 1 unit of water. The fixed charge is based on a customer's meter size. So a typical residential will go from a $36.83 fixed charge to $38.55. Included in the rates are drought rates. Now, the drought rates are required when the governor declares a drought across the state. The reason why the governor declares that is because we have to cut back on water supply. That's when we get cutbacks on water supply, and we actually have to cut back on our customers' watering days. So lower watering days means lower revenue, but we still have those fixed costs. So again, these drought rates will only be effective when there is a drought declared, and it'll go back to normal once the drought is declared no longer in existence. So typical impact to a typical single-family residence